Hey, Judith.
Charlie, have you said derogatory things about me to Jake?
No. Why? Did you want me to?
2.5 Men was once one of the biggest shows on television, making millions laugh every week. But behind the laughter, there was drama, both on and off the screen. The show, known for its bold humor and unpredictable characters, faced more than just comedic conflicts. From the infamous antics of Charlie Sheen to shocking storylines, the series often pushed boundaries. But there was one controversial scene that stood out and eventually contributed to the show being taken off the air. Join us as we dive into what went down behind the scenes, as well as look at the moment that shocked both fans and producers alike. Behind the wild scenes of 2.5 Men. When we think of 2.5 Men, we often picture the witty banter between brothers Charlie and Alan Harper and their carefree lifestyle. But like many hit shows, the drama didn't stay confined to the screen. Created by Chuck Lorre, the man behind many successful shows, 2.5 Men debuted in 2003 and ran for an impressive 12 seasons. Behind the laughs, however, were wild stories about casting decisions, behind-the-scenes tension, and unexpected changes in direction. Let's start from Chuck Lorre's journey to 2.5 Men. Chuck Lorre's name might seem synonymous with modern television hits, but his journey started long before 2.5 Men. He began his TV career in the 1980s, even co-writing the catchy theme song for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series. In the 1990s, he ventured into creating shows like Grace Under Fire, Sybil, and Dharma and Greg. These shows set the stage for his eventual TV dominance. But it wasn't until 2.5 Men that Lorre truly made his mark. In 2003, 2.5 Men burst onto the scene with its unapologetic, off-color humor. At a time when TV shows were starting to lean more family-friendly, 2.5 Men felt like a breath of fresh air, or a shock to the system. Its humor had more in common with the raunchy comedies you'd expect on cable than what most network sitcoms were offering. This difference made it a standout and quickly helped it gain a huge following. It even maintained high ratings long after its star Charlie Sheen exited the show. Speaking of which, did you know about the Charlie Sheen meltdown? Charlie Sheen's role as the carefree, womanizing Charlie Harper seemed like the perfect fit. But as the seasons progressed, so did the off-screen drama. Sheen's public meltdown became one of Hollywood's most infamous celebrity breakdowns. His wild behavior, both on and off the set, led to tension with the show's creators, especially Chuck Lorre. The drama eventually escalated to the point where Sheen was fired from the show after its 8th season. The behind-the-scenes chaos didn't just stop there. When Sheen left, many wondered what would happen to the show. Could it go on without its central character? After all, 2.5 Men was built around Sheen's character and his dynamic with Jon Cryer's Alan Harper. There was talk of the show ending right there, but CBS had other plans. The network wasn't about to let one of its highest-rated shows disappear without a fight, the almost Hugh Grant takeover. When it became clear that Charlie Sheen wouldn't return for Season 9, the show's producers faced a massive challenge. How do you replace a character as iconic as Charlie Harper? They needed someone who could bring the same charisma, but in a way that wouldn't feel like they were trying to copy Sheen. Enter Hugh Grant. Yes, Hugh Grant, the charming British actor known for roles in rom-coms like Notting Hill and Love Actually, was approached to replace Sheen. Grant was offered a staggering $1 million per episode, a figure almost unheard of for a TV actor at the time. However, Grant turned down the role. Why? He wasn't comfortable signing on without seeing any scripts first. The producers wanted him to commit to the show without giving him an idea of what direction they wanted his character to take, and Grant wasn't willing to take that risk. This left the role open for someone else, and that someone turned out to be Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher's money motivation. Ashton Kutcher, like Sheen, was no stranger to television. He first rose to fame playing the goofy but lovable Kelso on That 70s Show, and later found success with his MTV show Punk'd. But Kutcher had moved on from TV, focusing more on movies and his ventures in tech and entrepreneurship. So, when it was announced that Kutcher would be joining 2.5 Men, many were surprised. It turns out, Kutcher's return to television was largely motivated by one thing: money. It's no secret that actors do their work for a paycheck, but in Kutcher's case, the offer was just too good to refuse. At over $700,000 per episode, plus potential earnings from future syndication deals, it was a deal that couldn't be passed up. Despite initial hesitation, the financial rewards convinced Kutcher to step into the shoes of Two and a Half Men's new leading man. His character, Walden Schmidt, brought a new dynamic to the show and helped it survive another 4 seasons. Speaking of which, if you thought the opening credits of Two and a Half Men were sung by the show's stars, think again. Surprising voice behind the theme song. It wasn't Charlie Sheen, John Cryer, or Angus T Jones belting out the iconic "men, men, 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 manly men." And what might surprise you even more is that the voice behind young Jake's part wasn't even a man. It was a woman. Elizabeth E.G. Daly, a familiar name in Hollywood, was the voice behind that memorable part. You may know her from Pee-wee's Big Adventure as Dottie, or perhaps from her iconic voice work as Tommy in Rugrats and Buttercup in the Powerpuff Girls. Daly's voice has been everywhere, including movies like Wreck-It Ralph and A Goofy Movie. This surprising fact just adds another quirky layer to the show's production, as it took someone so talented to make that simple song as catchy as it is. Creative episode titles. Episode titles in TV shows can be fun and memorable, and Two and a Half Men took a unique approach. Much like Friends had its iconic "the one with the," for every episode, Two and a Half Men decided to pull its episode titles directly from lines spoken during the show. This gave us some pretty silly and often long-winded episode names. Titles like "Did You Check with the Captain of the Flying Monkeys?" or "Ate the Hamburgers, Wearing the Hats" might seem strange, but they were actual lines from the episodes themselves. This approach made every title feel like a little Easter egg, adding a playful twist for viewers who could connect the dots between the title and the dialogue. According to the DVD commentary, nearly every episode followed this rule, making the titles just as entertaining as the show itself. The chaos Charlie Sheen brought to the show. Charlie Sheen was always known as a bit of a wild card, but his time on Two and a Half Men took that reputation to a new level. Sheen's personal life was often full of chaos, and unfortunately, it started to spill into his work on the show. While his first arrest during the show's run in 2009 didn't directly affect filming, things took a sharp turn in 2011. Sheen went into rehab, forcing the show into an unexpected hiatus. During this time, Sheen gave a series of bizarre interviews where he openly criticized Chuck Lorre, the show's creator. This led to serious problems on set, with production eventually being canceled for the remainder of the season. It wasn't just his offset behavior either. His unpredictability had a significant impact on the show's crew and cast. Sheen's meltdown eventually led to his firing, marking one of the most dramatic behind-the-scenes moments in TV history, the original finale's Sheen twist. Even after Sheen's departure, rumors persisted that he might return for the show's final episode. Fans were eager to see how the series would end, and some speculated that Sheen's character, Charlie Harper, would make a grand return. There were indeed talks between Sheen and the show's writers about a possible cameo, but things didn't go as planned. The writers wanted Sheen to do a self-referential scene, poking fun at his struggles with substance abuse and his turbulent departure from the show. However, Sheen had different ideas. He wanted the finale to set up a potential spin-off show starring him and John Cryer, called The Harpers. The disagreement between Sheen and the writers meant that his cameo was scrapped altogether. Instead, the finale ended with a rather unusual twist. Charlie Harper was supposedly crushed by a falling piano, with Chuck Lorre himself making a brief on-screen appearance. But did you know about Rose's hidden style secret? Rose, played by Melanie Lynskey, was a fan favorite on Two and a Half Men. Though her character was an obvious stalker, viewers couldn't help but find her charm irresistible. Lynskey's portrayal of Rose somehow made stalking seem almost sweet, especially since Charlie Harper didn't seem to mind. One quirky fact about Rose is tied to her outfits. If you look closely, Every single one of Rose's outfits has a hidden detail. A rose. It might be a floral pattern on her clothes, a brooch, or even a small hair clip. It's a subtle touch, but once you know it, you can't unsee it. This fun wardrobe choice was revealed in the DVD commentary, and it's one of those hidden gems that only die-hard fans might catch. It's just another layer of creativity that made the character stand out. Then there was Jon Cryer's hair illusion. Jon Cryer's character, Alan Harper, was known for being unlucky in many ways, but what most fans didn't realize was that his hair on the show wasn't exactly real. In real life, Cryer's hair is much thinner, and during the breaks between filming, you could spot him with patches of baldness on top of his head. So, how did Alan's hair seem so full on the show? Instead of wearing a wig, Cryer revealed that his hair was actually painted on. That's right, the team used an elaborate process that involved something similar to shoe polish and a roller to make his hair appear thicker. After the paint, they added powder to complete the look. It was a bit of TV magic that helped create the illusion, keeping Cryer's character looking consistent throughout the seasons. Jennifer Taylor's many roles. It might surprise fans to know that Jennifer Taylor, who played Charlie Harper's love interest, Chelsea, actually appeared as 4 different characters on 2.5 Men. Taylor's first role was in the pilot episode, where she played a character named Suzanne. Later, she returned as Tina and then Nina, before finally landing the recurring role of Chelsea. Chelsea was one of the few women Charlie seemed to really care about, even getting engaged to her at one point. Taylor's versatility as an actress allowed her to seamlessly switch between these roles, and by the time she became a regular as Chelsea, viewers had probably forgotten about her earlier appearances. It's not often you see an actor play multiple roles on the same show, but Taylor pulled it off with ease. Speaking of who was the highest-paid child star, Angus T Jones, who played Jake, started off as the adorable half of 2.5 Men. But as he grew older, his character became a bit more rebellious. By the time he was 17, Jones wasn't just a star, he was the highest-paid child actor on television. He earned around $300,000 per episode, making him one of the richest teens in Hollywood. To put that into perspective, iCarly's Miranda Cosgrove, another popular child star at the time, earned $180,000 per episode, while Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle capped at $120,000. Even though Jones later stepped away from acting to focus on other ventures, his earnings from 2.5 Men ensured he was financially set for life. But why he stepped away from the show is another controversy we'll reveal later. Jon Cryer's big decision. Jon Cryer's decision to take the role of Alan Harper wasn't as straightforward as it might seem. Around the same time that he was offered the part on 2.5 Men, Cryer was also in talks to join the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. It wasn't an easy choice. While Battlestar would have made Cryer a fan favorite in the sci-fi world, the financial opportunities with 2.5 Men were too good to pass up. Looking back, it's clear that Cryer made the right call, as 2.5 Men became one of the most successful sitcoms of all time. His role as Alan not only brought him fame, but also a hefty paycheck, including earnings from syndication that continue to this day. Kandis reduced screen time. April Bowlby's character, Candy, was a fan favorite, and for good reason. She was a rare example of a recurring female character on 2.5 Men who later became part of the main cast. However, something odd happened with Bowlby's screen time. Despite being promoted to a main cast member in Season 4, Candy only appeared in 5 episodes. This was a noticeable drop from the previous season when she was still considered a recurring character but appeared in 10 episodes. It's unclear why her screen time was cut in half, but it didn't seem to bother Bowlby too much. After all, being part of the main cast likely came with a pay raise, and her character remains a memorable part of the series, the original Evelyn Harper. Holland Taylor brought the character of Evelyn Harper, Charlie and Alan's sharp-tongued mother, to life, becoming a standout on the show. But what many people don't know is that Taylor wasn't the original choice for the role. In fact, Blythe Danner, The mother of actress Gwyneth Paltrow was initially cast as Evelyn. Danner even filmed the unaired pilot, but for unknown reasons the producers decided to go in a different direction and recast the role. Taylor stepped in, and the rest is history. While we may never get to see the original footage of Danner as Evelyn, it's fascinating to imagine how the character might have been portrayed differently. The biggest controversies behind 2.5 Men. You see, while 2.5 Men had an impressive 12-season run, it wasn't always smooth sailing. As one of CBS's most watched comedies, it entertained millions of viewers, while also stirring up its fair share of controversies. From cast drama to controversial storylines, the show was often at the center of attention for reasons beyond its humor. Let's have a look at 5 of the biggest controversies that surrounded the hit series. Charlie Sheen had a public meltdown. It's hard to talk about 2.5 Men without mentioning Charlie Sheen. His character, Charlie Harper, was central to the show's success, but Sheen's personal life brought plenty of drama off-screen. His fame helped boost the show's ratings, but in 2011, everything came crashing down. Sheen entered rehab after a series of troubling incidents, and soon after, he publicly criticized series creator Chuck Lorre. Things escalated quickly, and within a month, Sheen's contract was terminated. CBS had no choice but to replace him, bringing in Ashton Kutcher to play Walden. Sheen's exit left a lasting mark on the show, and his wild behavior remains one of the biggest scandals in TV history. Angus T Jones turned against the show. One of the more surprising behind-the-scenes stories involves Angus T Jones, who, despite his massive success on 2.5 Men, publicly criticized the show. Charlie Sheen wasn't the only cast member to stir up controversy. Angus T Jones, who played Jake, also had a dramatic exit. In a video that was posted online in 2012, Jones urged viewers to stop watching the show, calling it filth. At the time, he was earning around $350,000 per episode, making him one of the highest-paid child actors in TV history. Jones's comments were rooted in his newfound religious beliefs, which conflicted with the show's raunchy humor. His criticism of the show came as a shock to fans, as he had been such an integral part of its success. Though he later apologized and returned for a few episodes, he eventually quit for good in 2013. His sudden departure added to the turbulence surrounding the show, leaving fans surprised by his public disapproval. Outrage over risque content. The show's edgy humor didn't sit well with everyone, especially the Parents Television Council, which repeatedly criticized 2.5 Men for its inappropriate content. One particular episode from 2007 sparked outrage, as it included jokes about bestiality and sex with vegetables. Earlier in 2006, a Christian group also raised concerns over an episode that rewrote the lyrics to the Christmas carol "Joy to the World" with sexual references. These complaints highlighted the ongoing tension between the show's humor and its more conservative viewers. Despite the backlash, the show's raunchy jokes became one of its signature elements, keeping it both controversial and popular. The famous casting controversy. Though Jon Cryer and Charlie Sheen made a memorable duo on the show, their casting wasn't always a sure thing. In fact, CBS chief Leslie Moonves initially didn't want them for the roles, fearing that their association with 80s movies would bring too much baggage. However, their on-screen chemistry quickly proved to be a hit with fans. Despite this, casting drama has been part of the show's history, from Sheen's firing to the eventual introduction of Ashton Kutcher. The cast changes kept viewers intrigued, but they also added to the show's rocky reputation. Gay marriage plot caused a stir. In the final season, the writers introduced a surprising twist. Walden, Ashton Kutcher, proposes to Alan, Jon Cryer, so they can adopt a child. While the storyline was intended to bring attention to the difficulties same-sex couples face when adopting, it didn't sit well with some fans. The twist led to a mixed reaction, with some viewers upset about the direction the show took. GLAAD president Kate Ellis expressed hope that the show would use this plotline to highlight the real struggles faced by same-sex couples. Though the series was known for its bold humor, this storyline pushed boundaries in a way that divided its audience. These are just a few examples of how Two and a Half Men often found itself at the center of controversy. From casting choices to the edgy jokes, the show's off-screen drama was just as captivating as its on-screen humor. Which of all these behind-the-scenes facts surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking stories.